You're doing time. J.R. Smith.
Uh-oh, I deleted the chat room somehow. What the fuck? That's gonna be hard to find the code for again.
Just Control Z that shit, man.
I already closed it.
What'd you delete?
The
the chat room.
No, just load up an old draft and then update it.
Okay.
I got disconnected from the chat room.
Oh, did you notice that? Because Wade County said that the chat room was deleted.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on that. Maybe.
Pooh. Oops.
Yeah. Okay, let me go back to.
Do I have a lower third yet?
No.
Oh, okay. Can I have a lower third,
No.
please?
God damn it.
I need to shave. I need more hair. I'm ugly. Jeez. I used to be so narcissistic and look at myself in the mirror all the time, and now I look like a turd. My eyes look like two piss holes in the snow.
2 pistols in the snow.
That's very vivid.
Yep. So,
I've got red, pimply pimples. Hey, thanks for the lower third, Matthew.
Thanks for the error message. It says no overlay selected, despite the fact that there was very obviously an overlay selected because it's working.
Hey, I'm not Google plus Hangouts.
You are
24 to
Google plus
16. That score you have. I may be delayed.
okay, the chat room has been
21 to
restored.
16, so.
Restored chat room.
That was my mistake.
I don't think this is updating. Are there still pink topics left?
There are pink topics.
I literally
know
have
anything
to.
about Timeful?
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and delete that.
Time for.
I know that my time is full.
I know vaguely what that is, but I think that's all anybody knows.
Nino Pro.
Peanuts, popcorn, Pierre's ice cream.
Also, I feel like I've been running 5.1 on the Motivax for like a month.
Hey, don't rub it in. I have a Nexus 9.
I meet you. And yeah, that's going to be a fun story to talk about.
Well, good thing it rolled out yesterday.
Yeah, it totally did. And, you know, everybody got their OTA. The links are everywhere. Yep.
Did I really miss that?
No, no, you did not.
That's facetiousness.
Ah,
Nary
that
a
was
Nexus.
not nice.
Matt, should you and Bob be on the OTA zone down there?
Yes, we should.
The Auto
The
Zone.
OTA zone.
Yes, the OTA zone.
O to the
If
T-zone.
I could really like click and do things in this browser window, I would totally be doing them.
I swear to God, my computers are like mimicking the way I feel this week. My words are slow, my thoughts are slow, everything is slow.
When someone asks you something, you just hold up a beach ball.
Yeah.
I understood that reference.
It's because that's all you've been seeing over there ever since you got
No,
there.
it doesn't even give me a beach ball. It just does nothing.
Oh, well, sit behind my computer. It's Beach Ball City. I used to freaking like Max.
Okay. I'm
I swear.
I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, so the name column next to Motorola has started rolling out the Android 5.0 update for the second gen Moto X. I'm clicking on it right now. Click.
Yeah.
I will tell you when the cursor moves. It just moved.
Yay.
So now I'm going to type in my
You
name.
may have something going on in your... Do you want me to check?
The cloud still doesn't believe you that the cursor has moved.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Yep, nope. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, that says that it's more than just... Maybe you've got some weirdness. Let me check something.
So, granular privacy controls.
But I'm doing something that's actually working. Okay. Hey, I just gave you more of those than I gave me. Huh.
Hey,
Delegation.
look! There's a guy that looks just like me on your feed.
That's weird. On my
Oh,
feet?
God. I can't stop talking because that's my face in HD, and I never see it that way, and it's gross. Where's the poo caca? Okay, there it is. What? Okay, why? I just want to make sure there's nothing else going on here. Did you log everybody out?
I logged out the person who was logged in.
Who was logged in?
That was all I did.
Okay, so you're good there. I feel like I'm invading your personal space.
I feel like that's true.
That's a touching moment.
That's weird.
Someone could make a Android police meme. Oh, yeah. Come on. There's your beach ball right there.
There's the beach ball.
There it is.
That's not really a beach ball. That's just an icon on the screen.
It's actually closer to like a pinwheel, I think.
Yes.
It used to be called Pinwheel of Doom.
Pinwheel spinning around. Look at my pinwheel and see what I found.
I will not do that. I do not want to look at your pinwheel.
Look at it!
It usually should see where it says process name.
Usually, does it show you names of processes?
It does. Usually, that's what it does.
Well,
It's in process.
it's processing the processes of the processes. Not responding.
Well, the other thing is here we can see what apps are not responding.
Oh, there it is. Oh, it popped up. Look at that. And now it's beach ball again.
Why is little snitch? Okay, little snitch. Why are you?
That
Oh, that's
little
CPU
snitch.
time. Never mind. The fart knocker baloney. Nothing's. Well, activity monitor. No shit. Come on. Come on, you butt munch. It's taking CPU. Oh my god. Really? This is not fun. Man, I am bald. Look at that. Jeez.
No, I'm bald.
And look at these gray hairs. Stinking. Stinker.
You know what's messed up is I have more gray hairs than my father does.
Well,
My father is in his 60s.
they say it has to do with wisdom, but I think that they're full of it. I think it has to do with your hair color being gone.
You think? That
Yeah,
could
the
be what it
pigment
is.
going away. That's exactly what I think. Come for the love of poo cakes. It's not even showing any of the CPU.
Nothing is using it.
Oh, there's nothing using CPU.
There's nothing using any CPU right
now.
now.
No wonder it's not moving.
That's why we're not. That's why it's not reacting, because it's not using the CPU.
Oh, I should have known. What this? Die. Spin dump agent.
Sounds like a high level of difficulty.
Call history plugin helper. I don't think we need that. Oh, where the dog cakes is my CPU. Oh, there. Well, let's just start the show.
It doesn't matter if I can do anything.
You don't need to do anything. Do you?
No. No, of course not.
I don't do
Why would I
anything.
do anything?
That's why the show's poor every week.
I wish that Chrome.
Oh, I had it locked on me the whole time. That's no fun. They couldn't even see all that fun stuff we were doing over there.
They could. It was just small.
All right.
Do we still have pink topics, or
No. There's
Okay.
one, but no. It's gone now. I'm recording now.
this is when the crashes happen?
Shh. No. No crashes, so shut it.
At some point in the show, I'm just going to jump up and shout excitedly because it finally told us
I'm
what
go-
our CPU usage was in this machine.
Did it?
No,
Oh, it hasn't yet.
hasn't yet. There's a graph saying it's being used.
All right, I'm going to do the little pre-thingy, and then I'm going to hit the button.
The pre-thingy,
Yes, the pre-thingy we talked about.
the thingy we talked about
Yes.
previously.
Yes, and as soon as you're quiet long enough, that'll happen. This week's episode of the Android Police Podcast is sponsored by Reflector 2, made by Squirrels. Check it out at airsquirrels.com/reflector.
Welcome to the Android Police Podcast, your weekly audio source for all things Android. It is Friday, May 8th, 2015. I'm your host, Matthew Smith.
I'm David Ruddick.
I'm Cameron Somerson.
My name is Bradman.
And my name is Bob Severns. Welcome to the show, everyone.
All right, well, we're coming to you on Friday night again this week. Hopefully our schedule will get back to normal very, very soon, but for those of you who are joining us tonight, we are glad you are here, and we're going to get things started with a little code Google. Alrighty, so the official schedule is live for Google I/O 2015, and it has, brought with it a schedule. So there's a keynote and sessions. That's the things that are going to be going on there, and that's all cool and fine and dandy. But I think we all knew that was going to happen. What we're going to delve into a little bit is about some of the information that we were able to glean from the schedule, starting off with what may or may not be a significant bump in an Android version, Liam.
Yeah, so it's not too surprising that Google would announce a new version of Android at I/O, but we did at least get confirmation that it'll be called Android M. The name will start with M. So yeah, that's expected to be announced. There was a reference to it in a session description for a session on Android for Work, which has since been removed. But yeah, Android M is coming.
Android M. So also some other little tidbits in there about some other things we expect to see. One of them called voice access should be coming to I/O. What do we suspect that might be, Liam?
So voice access sounds a lot like a leak that we had last year. At the time, I think we called them modular actions, basically voice actions that were specific to the app that you were in at the moment. So it seems like Google is finally ready to announce this. The point will be basically to allow developers to allow users to control their app using their voice with low development overhead. Of course, it remains to be seen how low that overhead actually is, but I guess we'll find out.
Sorry about that. I got excited because the CPU usage finally showed up on my my activity monitor over here.
Wow.
Been waiting.
And I'm hearing tapping, and I don't know if it's in my head or
No,
in
there's
a different
tapping
room.
coming from upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Tap, tap, tapping.
Tap, tap, give it a little tap. Tap, tap, taparoo.
All right, so so another feature that we've known about for some time, I think, on the site here is the nearby functionality of Android, and we're getting some hints that might be coming very soon as well, right, Liam?
Yeah, so once again, in a session description, there's a section on proximity-based communication, which makes direct reference to nearby as being the two speakers for the session are on the nearby team. Nearby is something, again, that we heard of last year that's kind of like a unified effort for allowing your Android device to communicate with other devices, places, and people around you, essentially, using a variety of means. We've already seen some of this, like with Chromecast's guest mode. It uses Whisper to send a supersonic, or not supersonic, a specific sound that your device can pick up using a microphone.
Right?
Yeah, ultrasonic, there we go. To authenticate. So we've seen some of these efforts emerge already, but presumably there's going to be a lot more to discuss after I/O.
And a lot more angry dogs. You know,
it'd be interesting to see what they do.
It is going to be interesting, but every time I see that, I always read it, and I always pronounce it nearby.
Nearby.
I think, I really think that voice access combined with nearby will be, I mean, I think if it's done right, which I guess a lot of that is up to developers, but I think it could really be a killer feature for Android. Just being able to tell an app to do things with devices around you, just automatically.
And judging by when we leaked it, it will also be a killer piece of news for the Drudge Report.
Yes. I am excited for those visitors to revisit.
Yeah, so it's listening. I'm assuming it's listening to everything that you do and reporting it all directly to the NSA. So
yes, it basically puts it in an Excel sheet and then just forwards it to HQ, and yeah.
Sweet.
They
I
have
like
a person
that.
who reads through all of that, and then they gossip about you. And
well, the good news is that according to the Bloomberg report, you might be able to turn that functionality off.
Yes.
Right? I mean, right? Because we've got enhanced privacy controls. I mean.
Yeah, but there won't be an NSA switch for the NSA switch.
How do you know?
Come on, Matt.
How do you know?
Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Segway.
We all know. But Google is supposedly finally planning to release those universal privacy controls. At least that's what it sounds like that they promised last year, and then everybody's like, so what happened to that? And Google's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And now apparently, again, they're going to be all like, oh yeah, it was totally always going to be a thing. And you'll be able to control individual app permissions. It's not clear which permissions exactly and which you won't be able to control. But it's also not clear how Google is suddenly going to make sure every app that you deny a permission is going to work right when you go to use it, at least in the non-obvious ways that would break. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, so we might see that at I/O as well.
And I think it's going to be interesting to see what developers do with that. Because if someone says no to a permission, not realizing that it'll break some other part of the app, and the developer hasn't accounted for that yet because it's a new feature, then, I mean, that's going to be negative Play Store reviews, support requests, you know. It's going to be a fun time.
Yep, and the 1-star reviews will flow.
Yes.
As soon as I turned off data connection, this app stopped working properly. It hasn't synced once since I turned off access to the cellular network.
Fix it, and I'll revise to 5 stars. And then actually they never revise it to 5 stars.
Access the internet.
All right. Well, meanwhile, for versions of Android that are already out, some of us are still wondering why they might not be available on, particular devices that you may own, but Google's Nexus Twitter account had some what would appear to be good news for Nexus 9 owners, right, Liam?
Yeah, so yesterday, Google's Nexus accounts on Twitter and Google Plus announced that Android 5.1 would be rolling out to the Nexus 9 today, meaning yesterday. We haven't actually heard of anybody getting this update yet, so it's unclear if maybe there's somebody out there hiding with the 5.1 update.
It only went to loyal Nexus 9 users. Promised to be silent for a week.
And not talk about it or give us the links or anything.
There are 24 time zones in the world, so I'm guessing that somewhere in the world it's September.
Okay.
I think they just couldn't find the dog food emoji before they sent the tweet.
It was a late one from April Fool's Day. It was in the cache.
That's a depressing one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in the meantime, there was a 5.0.2 update that rolled out to the Nexus 9.
Sweet.
And some users, like Cameron, have really, really, really not enjoyed this rollout. Have you, Cam?
No, I spent 2 hours fixing my Nexus 9 yesterday morning after this update. It was like I finished like 10 minutes before that tweet rolled out that said 5.1, and I was like, shit, man, I'm not doing this. That's scary. I mean, yeah. So basically, I installed 5.0.2 OTA. I didn't do any side loading, anything like that. I mean, hadn't even used this tablet in forever. I had to charge it, and when I charged it, the OTA was there. So updated it and boot loop. So I was like, okay, into recovery, clear cache. Nope, wouldn't clear cache. Tried to do a factory reset. No factory reset. I mean, it just did nothing. It did nothing. And every time I would try to, I would, go into fast boot. Every time I was like, when I tried to flash, I downloaded the factory image, tried to flash it. Every time after fast boot, when it would try to reboot back into the bootloader, it would just go straight in and try to factory reset again and just spin. Oh, it was a nightmare. So anyway, I flashed every single thing manually, every little piece manually, and that finally fixed it. And now it's
the Nexus 9 has weird problems with trying to flash whole update packages that contain like the radio and the system. The bootloader.
I had to do them all one at a time. So
yeah, if you do them one at a time, that was a problem going from the first Nexus 9 OTA.
Yeah, so do it and then reboot, and then do another and reboot. I rebooted after every single one, except for like the last the bootloader, the cache, and whatever else. I didn't reboot in between those, but that fixed it, and it boots up fine now, and actually seems to be snappier, much snappier, actually usable now. I haven't really installed much, but I was playing Mortal Kombat X on it earlier just to see, because that I figured that would kind of push the graphics and see what happened with it, and it actually performed really well, left the game easily, so it's performing better. I don't know if that's because I did a factory reset and had to start over, or if that's because 5.0.2 fixed it.
Yeah, the Nexus 9 seems to have a high incidence of reset it, and it gets better for a little while.
Yeah, so we'll see. I am looking forward to 5.1.1 or whatever it's getting, whenever that
Are you looking forward to the OTA for it? Because I would think you wouldn't be.
I'm going to give it another shot. My Nexus 9 is not my main tablet right now, so even if it messes up, I know I'll just go straight to the factory image if it's available. Whenever that happens, I'll go straight to the factory image and fix it. But I won't spend hours trying to fix it like I did yesterday morning. So hopefully 5.1.1 makes it suck less, because I really want to love this tablet. I still am in the at this point probably minority group of users who wants to love this tablet. I have no problem saying that it's complete trash right now, but I want it to be good, and I want to love it, because I do like the size, and I love the display. I like using it when it doesn't, be terrible.
It doesn't be terrible.
When it doesn't be terrible, yeah. My main tablet right now is my iPad Mini, and it has been for, since 5.0 came out, because every tablet I have with 5.0 basically turns to trash. So, we'll see. We'll see what's the haps, yo.
We'll see what the haps.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty gangsta, right?
So Liam and David, you guys didn't have any problems with your 5.02 updates?
My update went fine. It's one of the only OTAs that I've ever got the regular way. Like my device actually told me that there was an update.
I don't currently have a Nexus 9, so it couldn't
That's
go
true.
good or bad for me.
The 502 has not been pushed out to my Nexus 9. So
502.
502.
Really? You still don't have 502? I thought everyone had it at this point.
Let me check again. Maybe I'm mistaken.
I'm still
you should
floundering
know.
around.
I do not
Well,
have it,
You
and
should
I've been
tweet that
checking.
to Google and be like, "Don't you know who I am?"
Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut, Google. No,
See?
I do not have 502, and I just checked for an update, and I still don't have it.
I'm sorry.
It's not OTA, yo. For Bob. They hate Bob.
Well, one thing that Android Wear devices have in common with the Nexus 9 is they also don't have 5.1 yet. But David's watch does, so he's been putting articles all over the site about new features and functionalities. So David, why don't you give us a rundown of what's new in 5.1?
So the key things that are new in Android 5.1, there's a new activity launcher. That's the main UI change you're going to notice. So there's 3 sections to the activity launcher. They're just all columns, lists of icons. The first one are launchable activities, so like apps and then activities you can launch on the watch. And then the next one is your favorite contacts for some reason, I don't know. And then you can call or text or email them. And then the third one is a list. It goes to the old Google Voice Action prompt UI that's currently on Android Wear 5.0, and that still has the activities, and there's some redundant ones with the list of launchable activities. So it's weird. I don't know why they've done it this way. That third screen is totally redundant. It might be some technical reason, being like 2 different APKs or something. But regardless, it seems kind of weird. The rest of the changes, it's mostly UI stuff. There are some usability changes. Wear tells you when it installs a Wear APK on your watch now. So if you install the Amazon app, which also installs an app on your watch will now tell you, hey, Amazon's installed on your watch, which it didn't do that before, surprisingly, and now it does that. There's a new lock screen feature, which is it's not very good. I've been told this might be specific to the LG devices, though, so I'm not sure. If so, that would be a customization of Wear, which would be strange. You can now dismiss individual cards from a stack. So if you get like 3 messages in inbox, you can tap on it, and they'll separate out into cards like they would. But if you swipe one away, it only swipes that one away. Whereas
Thank
before-
God for that.
Yeah.
That was
It only
so
works with some
annoying.
apps. It only works with some apps.
As long as it works with Messenger, that's all I care about.
I haven't tested with Messenger yet, but it works with Hangout, so I'm going to guess it works with Messenger.
Man, I hope so, because
It
that
doesn't work
that
with
drives
Gmail,
me-
though, for some stupid reason.
That drives me crazy when I get like 3 texts or something and I just want to dismiss 1 or 2 of them. Oh, I hate that.
But then there are some apps where if you get more than 2 notifications, like the Android notification turns into a multiple notification thing where it's not giving any rich details. You just have to tap it, and assuming it gives you those 3 notifications. Those ones don't separate into individual cards. Like I think Calendar will do that sometimes, and then it's like, nope, you have too many events. You can't sort through these individually. But yeah, it seems to be something that you have to implement on a per app basis, and Google has implemented it on some apps. And then there's Wi-Fi, which Wi-Fi basically, as far as I can tell, your watch is supposed to learn all of your saved Wi-Fi networks on your paired Android phone. If you're out of range of your phone or turn off Bluetooth or disconnect from the Wear app, the watch will connect to a known Wi-Fi network and basically do a tunneled connection to your phone. Your phone still has to have internet connectivity for Wi-Fi on Wear to work, because all it's doing is just talking to the phone over Wi-Fi instead of over Bluetooth. It's just still, everything has to go through the phone. So if the phone doesn't have internet, then the watch is just as useless as it would be disconnected. So that's something to keep in mind, and it's automatic. You can't force the watch to Wi-Fi unless you disconnect it from the phone. You can turn Wi-Fi off completely, and there's some very small configurability options. But yeah, that's how it works.
It actually, based on what you described in the article, it actually works better than I thought it would. My impression was that you would have to be on the same Wi-Fi network as your phone, but
No, your phone just needs internet connectivity anywhere, and you can do all commands. I haven't found a command that doesn't work. If you want to start a phone call on your phone, if it were like 5,000 miles away and you were in a foreign country and you used your watch on a Wi-Fi network, it would call somebody on your phone. So as far as I can tell, it's full functionality.
That's really awesome. I'm looking forward to that because
I don't know
half the
why
time
you'd want it though, because you wouldn't be able to talk to them because the watch doesn't have a speaker.
if I forget and leave my phone on my desk and then like I go to the garage or something, it drives me crazy. I'll look down and I mean just little stuff like that. Like that'll be super super useful, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely most useful like around the home or places you go
definitely because I hate having it. I by habit grab my phone and throw it in my pocket now, even if I'm going to the other side of the house. But I'll be glad to not have to do that.
One I've also heard is that if you go to the gym a lot and your gym has a secure Wi-Fi network, you can put your phone in the locker and take the watch out into the gym with you, and you don't have to bring your phone, which is kind of nice.
Awesome. That's very cool. Very very cool.
cool. All right, so moving on to Google Plus, we've been hearing about this collections feature rolling out to some users a little bit early, but this week it rolled out to just about everyone. So, Liam, what's the collection feature again?
So collections basically are collections of posts. You can put your own posts into collections, or you can share other posts into collections. You can move a post to a collection, but basically. So if you have public collections, those count just like your regular public posts, except for they have the collection name attached to them. So if somebody follows you, they're automatically following all of your collections that are public. And then you can kind of selectively unfollow collections. So if you follow somebody who posts a lot of interesting stuff, but they also have a bad habit of oversharing about like their baby or something, then you can unfollow their baby collection, assuming they've been courteous enough to put those posts into a collection. But yeah, that's basically what it is.
Doing any automatic collections? I mean, is that?
No.
So I know it does the automatic hashtag thing. So I would think if you choose to not collect your things, it would at least give you something.
No, it doesn't have any kind of automatic collection feature yet. But you can choose cover photos and colors to your collection, so that's fun. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple.
Cool. You know, if Facebook had that feature, it might have taken me less time to drop it permanently. I mean, more time. More time. That's what I meant. More time.
Yeah, I mean, it is handy. It's kind of a good way of like not totally uncircling somebody, but it's still like filtering some of the content out.
Yeah, it's too bad Google Plus is kind of it is kind of a wasteland from a active user standpoint, but it has the best features of like any social network out there. It is so great to use. It's like one of my favorite Google products since Gmail.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about platform distribution numbers. We got a new update with those numbers, and looks like we've got some moves in the right direction, right, Kim?
Yeah. Lollipop now has almost 10%. I mean, that's a pretty decent jump in a month. That's like 5% jump. Kit Kat, of course, is still like around 40%, and Jelly Bean is surprisingly right around 40% also. So
if it doubles every month, then it'll be at 100% soon.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think it'll double every month. I mean, I guess it might, but no, it probably won't. So basically, between Jelly Bean and Kit Kat, though, that's still 80%, and then Lollipop is at 10%. So those ice cream sandwich, gingerbread, and Froyo, unfortunately, are still on 10% of devices. That's sad. That's sad for those people. That 10% shouldn't exist. So anyway, yeah, step in the right direction for Lollipop, especially, I guess. I don't know. I always say good things about Lollipop, but I don't think I've ever had a version of Android that pissed me off as much as Lollipop does either.
Yeah, Lollipop's kind of a kind of an asshole.
It's
Just a little bit.
If the right phone, I swear, and I'm probably gonna get blasted for this, but I don't really give a shit. But if the right phone came out with KitKat, I would probably just go back. I did go back to KitKat for a while, and I was happy.
The Nexus 6 on KitKat, don't even make me think about it. It should be illegal.
The
It's
what?
not okay. The Nexus 6 on KitKat.
Oh God, yeah, that might be terrible. But I don't own a Nexus 6, and I wouldn't want my Moto X back on KitKat either. So I don't want that. But if I used that blue phone for a while, the Vivo Air with KitKat, and I was pretty happy with it. There were a few features in from Lollipop. That's really what I want. I don't want to go back to KitKat. I just want Lollipop to not suck. That's really what I'm trying to say.
Well, I guess if M is coming later this month, then that will probably never happen.
Just make it so the memory stuff doesn't happen. I know I've probably bitched that into the ground, and I apologize for that. I just hate that I have to restart my phone basically every damn day to make sure everything still works the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, and Google's response is basically, even when they say they're going to fix these things, it's basically yes. If it gets fixed, it gets fixed.
I wouldn't
That'd be
even
nice,
care.
wouldn't it?
I wouldn't even care to restart my phone every day if I could long press the power button and hit restart, and then poof, it restarts. But power down. I swear to God, this is the stupidest thing on earth that I'm pissed off about right now. Am I really that angry that I have to turn my phone off and then turn it back on? I mean, I am, but why am I so mad about it? It's probably because most of the time I turn it off, and then it'll be 48 minutes later, and I'll pick it up, and I'll be like, damn, I haven't gotten a message in and I'll be like, oh, I forgot to turn it all back on. So I sit there for an hour, 48 minutes and an hour now, by the way, in my world. That I forgot to turn my damn phone back on, and it irritates the hell out of me. So these are the things that I want Google to fix. Google fix all these things.
Google is, it's Lollipop is very high concept, but in implementation, some ways, it's they're so much interested in getting you to look at Google Now and look at Inbox and get you to look at all the pretty animations and look at the new settings and look at all of these wonderful features we've built in, that they kind of seem to forget. Usability kind of gets trampled on a little bit along the way in terms of technical problems.
It's one of those stupid things where, for example, if I don't restart my phone within say 2 hours before I go ride my bike, when I go ride, I listen to podcasts and I use Runtastic to track my ride. Literally, if I don't restart my phone within 2 hours before doing that, maybe 3. But anyway, the point is I have to do that before. One will cancel out the other because there's just that memory leak issue will just kill. One of them will kill, and nothing makes me more frustrated when I'm out riding than when my activity tracker stops tracking my activity. It just drives me bananas.
That means you have to go run again.
Yeah, that is seriously.
Yeah, well, I don't run a ride, but it's seriously, it's just so stupid. And then the Bluetooth thing, multiple Bluetooth connections, my earbuds and the sensors I have on my bike. Ah, God. Anyway, I'm not going to go on this bitch fest now. I apologize. I'm getting way off topic. The good news is Lollipop numbers are up.
I want to know.
The good news is more people are suffering with us.
Yeah, exactly. The good news is more people understand our pain on this one.
We should have Lollipop meetups.
Oh my God.
That's true. I want to know where this goes.
I'm pretty sure you would get Chris Hansen would be there immediately if you put that on meetups. Lollipop meetup full of men in their 20s to mid 50s. Yeah, that sounds totally okay.
It's almost as bad as NAMBLA meetups.
My name's Bob, and I use Lollipop. Hello, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
All right, so just time for a quick little word from our sponsor this week. This week is sponsored by Reflector 2, the easiest way to cast your Android device's screen directly to your PC or Mac. Just load up the app and start casting using Google Cast or AirPlay the same way you would to your Chromecast or Apple TV. You can even record what you cast. So head on over to airsquirrels.com/reflector to try it out free for a week. If you like it, use promo code AndroidPolice51 and get $5 off of a single license. So that's airsquirrels.com/reflector. All right, let's move on to Carrier 411.
Carrier 411.
All right, so T-Mobile, again, at it, trying to target customers from other various networks to switch to the Magenta network. And this time around, they are specifically going after Verizon with admittedly little firepower. I'm sorry, this just does not seem compelling to me, Cam.
No, it's interesting. So, Verizon does the never settle thing now, which I still find to this day very humorous because of the whole stupid OnePlus crap. So anyway, T-Mobile's thing is never settle for Verizon. So they're offering Verizon customers a 14-day free trial period. So here's the thing, though. You have to cancel your Verizon plan, come to T-Mobile, and they'll, you do your 14-day trial. If you decide to stay with T-Mobile, they'll pay your ETFs and blah, blah, blah. But if you decide not, you have to turn in your phone, too. So there's that. If you decide not to stay with T-Mobile, then you are responsible for paying the ETFs that you just had to pay Verizon to go try out T-Mobile. So they will not pay your ETF, but they will pay for you to reactivate on Verizon. But you're still out like at least a few $100, $200 or $300, if you decide to go back to Verizon. So really, it's no different. I mean, they'll pay ETFs from any carrier at this point. So it's really, this isn't a plan to try to get people. I mean, it's not something to get people from Verizon. This is for people who are. It's like the little push they need to make the switch if they're already trying to decide to go from Verizon to T-Mobile. But really, it's nothing. This is just like. It's just I don't know. They're just trying to get people's attention. Is what
nobody is going to understand this. Nobody.
No, I mean seriously, it's yeah. I mean people who aren't tech savvy, they're going to end up getting screwed over because they're like, oh, I can cancel Verizon and go try T-Mobile. And if I don't like it, I'll go straight back to Verizon and blah blah blah, no harm. And then the next thing you know, they've had Verizon for 6 months. And they've got to pay a $300 ETF to get out of it, and then T-Mobile won't pay if they want to go back. I mean, it's just crap. I usually like I wouldn't switch to T-Mobile, but I like the stuff they do to ruffle feathers. But this is not one of those things.
Yeah, this is very uncarrier. It's very carrier.
I absolutely agree. It's screwing customers is what it's doing.
I could say, as somebody who, I personally switched from Verizon to T-Mobile in January of last year, and this actually makes me think, if January of last year was right now, and this was the offer, they said, look, this is what we're doing for Verizon customers, this sounds less compelling than what they were already doing, and I would probably have just stayed with T-Mobile, or with Verizon, because it sounds worse. It doesn't even sound as good as what they were already doing.
Yeah, I think a part of it is just that T-Mobile can't afford to keep eating everybody's ETFs forever.
Right.
It's not. Everybody knows it's not a viable long-term business strategy. It's a good way to swing subscription short-term, but long-term they have to do something else.
Right. All right, let's move on to the hot sheet.
Okay.
Hottest sheeters.
All right, so we had a couple of devices announced this week, starting off with Sony, who brought the Xperia C4 to the table, pretty heavily focused on cameras and optics and selfies and all that good stuff. So, David, what's new and interesting with the C4?
The C4 is a device that you might someday see on Sony's US website for sale for some unreasonable amount of money. It is not launching in America, I don't believe, though. It's a MediaTek processor phone. It's dual SIM, which automatically flags it for markets like Brazil, like China, Hong Kong, India, other areas in Southeast Asia where dual SIM is common. This is Sony's response to the high-end budget phone, but it doesn't seem all that compelling. Still using a MediaTek chip, and it'll probably be overpriced compared to its compared to its competitors. It has a decent-sized battery, a 5.5-inch screen. It has a 5-megapixel front-facing camera, which sounds kind of weak compared to the 8 and 13-megapixel cameras some other Chinese phones are pushing these days on the front. So it looks like a very standard Sony phone. It looks very formulaic. It looks kind of nice for something probably in its price range, but it's not something you're going to see in America.
Do you know which MediaTek chip is in it?
It is an octa-core one, and
if it's the octa-core one, it actually has really good performance. That's the same one I was talking about like last week or the week before in the selfie. I really do like that chip.
52.
The what?
6752.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm not super familiar with MediaTek chips. There's another phone announced this week, the Xiaomi Mi Note Pro. It has a 5.7-inch quad HD display, 13-megapixel camera, 4 gigs of RAM, which you need apparently, 64 gigabytes of storage, dual SIM with LTE and the Snapdragon 810. It's a Xiaomi, so it's going to go on sale in China, and then maybe a few other markets in Southeast Asia, maybe. It's also not super cheap. It's around it's 3,000 won, but that's about $480 US. I mean, it's a really high-end phone, but it's not like crazy cheap or anything. In China, where everything's bought unlocked, price is more of a consideration, but we won't see this phone in America either. Because Xiaomi doesn't ship devices in America yet, or really anywhere else but China and a few countries in Southeast Asia. They just started in India recently, I believe.
All right.
So real quick, the 6752 is not the same chip I was talking about. I was talking about the 6592. So I don't know. I can't say what the performance.
Well, I mean, 67 is higher than 65, but it could still be worse, though. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I know that one's 64-bit too. The one in the Sony phone.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it, I mean the whole 4 gigs of RAM? Correct me if I'm wrong, but if it was a 32-bit processor, you wouldn't even be able to use all 4 gigs, right?
You can do that. You need a physical address extension, which is possible with any reasonably modern CPU. So they could do that, but it's not a 32-bit. It's a Snapdragon 810, so it's a 64-bit chip, and it can take advantage of all 4 gigabytes there.
All 4 gigabytes. All right, so let's move on to device updates, starting off with Motorola rolling out 5.1 to the second-gen Moto X. So if you have the 2014 edition of the Moto X, you should be getting that update rolling out now. And if you have, a Nexus 9, then just try to forget about that for now.
If you are the owner of a Samsung Galaxy S4 and Sprint is your carrier, you are getting Android Lollipop over the air. Also, T-Mobile, the Galaxy Note Edge, you should start receiving the 5.0.2 update there.
And Sony has released the 5.0 Lollipop upgrade to the Xperia Z2 and Z3 series devices. Those are the international release ones, so we don't have any specifics about if you happen to have like a T-Mobile model or whatever, but if you have an international version, then you should be getting your update.
And at long last, if you are the owner of a Dell Venue 8, you are getting the Android 5.0.2 Lollipop update as well.
Also, if you could move your car, owner of the Dell Venue 8, please.
Please move your car. Your lights are on, and whatever was tied up in your trunk is now loose.
All right, let's move on to product reviews.
It's time for product reviews. This week, the LG G Watch Urbane review with David Roddick.
Okay, so I'm not going to review Android Wear 5.1 on the podcast because that would take, it would also be boring. Anyways, if you're watching the video show, there is the Watch Urbane. I've got the rose gold one, which is actually not that rosy of a rose gold. It's a nice balance. I think it looks really nice, and that's all the reason you want this watch. It looks nice, and it runs Android Wear 5.1 out of the box, and it has Wi-Fi if the Wi-Fi feature is something you're interested in. We don't know if the G Watch R will get Wi-Fi, so that's something you will get on the Watch Urbane. You're paying $50 more than the G Watch R if the G Watch R still cost what it did when it came out, but now it's $100 more than G Watch R at $350 for either the stainless steel or the rose gold versions, both of which come with leather bands, which appear to be of similarly lame quality that shipped on the G Watch R. The metal body itself looks and feels quite nice, but it does get scratched pretty easily. It doesn't feel like it's, super, super nice or anything. So, but it does. It looks amazing. The bezel is not nearly as high on the Urbane, so it's much easier to swipe on the screen now. And it also looks like the screen sits higher up because of that effect of the bezel being lower. Generally, the reason you get this watch is because it looks nice. The circular screen is still a compromise. The readability, especially being a smaller circular screen than, say, the Moto 360, is pretty brutal sometimes. They've decreased the standard font size in Wear, so that helps a little bit. But it's still, it's not as good as a rectangular screen for reading. The battery life is good. The visibility outdoors with the POLED display is pretty decent, but nowhere near as good as this transflective display on the Smartwatch 3. And obviously this doesn't have GPS either. So this is very much a watch that appeals to people who are into fashion or who just want a nice Android Wear watch that is circular and maybe looks a little more traditional than the Moto 360.
It's very pretty. I like it.
I think so too. I really like the way it looks.
Well, and we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that it's $9,650 cheaper than any gold offering from Apple.
That's true. It is true. But it doesn't have the molecules.
Oh, no molecules?
Not made of
Screw that
molecules.
then. If it's not made of the molecules and aluminium, then just send it back.
But yeah, that's the Watch Urbane. I mean, I can't imagine they're going to sell a ton of them, but I still think it's the overall nicest Wear device I've seen yet. I like it better than the Huawei watch.
Really dumb question. What does urbane mean?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's made up nonsense.
Oh, because I don't like it. It's like urban, but oh, did you see? I got my urbane watch. It's so very urbane.
Yeah, the name is hopelessly uppity and tacky.
Well, according to Google, urbane means of a person suave, courteous, and refined in manner.
Oh, so it would be very urbane of me to take my watch, and I shall lower my trousers below the buttocks crease. Because I'm urbane. Oh no, that's urban. Never mind. And that's stereotypical. Send your hate mail to podcast@androidpolice.
All right, let's move on from that. Definitely, specifically, move on from that to other news.
It's time now for the other news. It is news other than the news we've been talking about previously on the show.
All right, so other news this week comes from NVIDIA and their, lack of care that they will be giving towards phones that didn't use their chips or modems anyways. They're out of the phone business, right, David?
Yeah, so NVIDIA bought this company called Icera in 2011. They made modems. Their big thing was that they had a premise for a software-defined radio, which basically means that you can make a modem use almost any frequency you want just by changing the firmware. It's a big deal. Qualcomm's trying to get to a fully software-defined radio. Everybody else is trying to get there. It's going to make the whole issue of band support and stuff hopefully a lot easier, coupled with advances in antenna technology. Anyway, they bought this company on the hope that they'd be able to develop a fully integrated LTE solution for Tegra chips, and then once they had that, they could put Tegra chips in phones because having an integrated LTE modem is basically essential to competing at the performance end, the high-end part of the smartphone business right now, just because everybody else has them, and they do have advantages. NVIDIA, I think, shipped half a dozen Tegra 4i devices, and most of them, I think maybe one of them had LTE. It might have been maybe 2 or 3. But the Black Phone was one, and then there might have been a couple other ones. They were all no-name phones, and Tegra 4i, which was the Phoenix phone reference platform, tanked completely. And the Icera modems that were in that reference platform obviously never got adopted really by almost anybody. And so NVIDIA decided to shut down the Icera unit, which apparently still employs around 500 people all over the world, and they will. I assume those people will be getting fired here shortly.
Aww.
That's not good.
Unless they want to be fired.
That's not good at all.
That's sad.
All right, well, let's move on to happier things like
Yay!
contests and giveaways, because we have a giveaway going on the website right now. There are 10 chances to win one of 6 different Android development books from Pact Publishing and Android Police. So if you are a developer or looking to get into developing, maybe just dabbling a little bit, and you're looking to increase your skills a little bit, head on over to androidpolice.com/contests and get yourself entered to win.
Cool.
No voicemails this week. So.
No voicemails,
No,
but send your
called.
voicemails. Call us at this number that I read later. Well, we hope you enjoyed the show. As always, send your feedback to podcast@androidpolice.com. You can also call us at 530-HELLO-AP. That's 530-435-5627. Find us on Twitter at Android Police, Google Plus, and Facebook.
And thanks again to Squirrels and Reflector 2 for sponsoring the show this week.
Yes.
Head on over to wrong website. Head on over to airsquirrels.com/reflector and use promo code AndroidPolice51 for $5 off Reflector 2.
Which is the best deal that you can get on Reflector 2.
Word.
Word to your mother. And we shall see you all next week.
Yes, next week.
Sometime during the week. Stay tuned.